We'd like to welcome everybody to the Jefferson Street Sound Museum. Today, I have the privilege of interviewing the founder and curator of the museum, Mr. Lorenzo Washington.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Washington.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're just so proud of you and everything that you do today. Lorenzo Washington, the founder of Jefferson Street Sound Museum.
Thank you, Karen, for having the interest that you have for the Jefferson Street Sound Museum. And I'm very proud to be sitting here with you.
Oh, thank you so much. So you know that we're going to delve deep and get real nosy about your business. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just going to ask some basic questions so that we can relax. Are you a native Nashvilleian?
Yes, I am a native Nashvilleian.
Okay, and where were you born?
I was born and raised in East Nashville across the Jefferson Street Bridge.
Jefferson Street Bridge, okay.
And off of Cowan Street.
Okay.
There was a community over there that when the interstate came through, Interstate 40 came through, it totally demolished that area of Nashville that we lived in.
And so where did you move after that?
Well, when we moved from Wichita Street, we moved over on off Meridian Street
Okay.
in the Lane Garden
Apartments?
apartments.
Okay. And then after that, where did you go?
After that, like you say, you're digging.
I'm digging.
After that, we went to Neal Avenue, still in East Nashville.
Still
So
there.
when the interstate came through, it totally disrupted family life
Right.
in East Nashville, because my aunts and my cousins and my uncles, everybody lived in some parts of East Nashville, and when the interstate came through, everybody just split up and had to go to different sides of the city. North
And that's so
Nashville.
different. Yeah, that's different. To be kind of scattered
Yeah.
when you're used to living around each other.
Right. Well, we could always go down the street and get a cup of sugar.
There you go. Yeah, borrow a cup of sugar from the neighbor.
Yeah, and that neighbor would be a relative,
Mm-hmm.
because there was that many of us in that area.
Well, you've had just a wonderful life in doing research about you. But I want to ask you about your personal life when you were younger and you went to, you attended Meg's
School.
Meg School, and you left Meg School in order to help your mother pay bills and to help take care of your younger brothers. What did you feel about that? What prompted you to do that as a young boy?
Well, my mother always raised me especially to be one to look out for family. And I had 3 brothers, and absent from the house father. So I had to be my mother's backup.
Right.
And that was one of the reasons I quit school and got a job, because I was still backing her up. You know, I was still being a father to my brothers and a helpful son to my mother.
And that's one of the things I really admire about you, because it's very unselfish of you to do that. I'm sure there were some other things that you wanted to do, but you knew what needed to be done at that
Right.
time.
Right.
So when you were younger in that age, what did you want to grow up to be? What did you want to have?
Well, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. You know, I just wanted to be successful in whatever way that I could. You know, I was always wanting to be a business person. You know, I was always pretty good at arithmetic and
Okay.
and math, so I could figure out, you know, how to make money. You know, and you know, I worked on back in the day when I was a kid, I worked on the coal and wagon, ice man with the ice man and the coal man. I worked at 13 years, at 12 years old, I started shining shoes. But I had to walk so far to work.
So where did you have to go?
Downtown,
Okay.
on 3rd Avenue at Lonnie Young Shoe Repair. And but that was about a mile and a half or longer to get to work, and I had to walk because I didn't know how much I would make that day shining shoes. But the thing is that I had a job that would pay hopefully enough to give me and my three brothers lunch money. So we had to have lunch money every day, and that was my source of providing us with lunch money.
Now, do you still shine shoes today?
My own.
You know, shoes. You always think it's good to know something personal about the individual that I'm talking to. So I think this is something very personal that people will feel maybe they didn't know about you or feel closer to you, or to be able to identify more with you, the person, Lorenzo Washington.
Well, you know, even in the neighborhood, folk knew me and knew who I was because I was always a positive person. You know, I never was a negative person. And so I hung around with positive people. The older folk saw that I was a positive person and a good person. And they, whenever they had chores to do around the house, like hardwood floors, buff the windows clean, sort of hard jobs, but they would always come and get me
To help out.
and that was a dollar or two, you know, back then. So I had a number of folk, you know, having faith in me that I was gonna do a good job for them then, and that I was gonna be somebody, as they used to say it in the neighborhood.
Well, you are somebody. That's for sure.
Somebody.
Yeah, you
I
are
don't know.
somebody. Let me ask you this: what is your first memory of Jefferson Street?
My first memory of Jefferson Street is walking from East Nashville, Wichita Street, to Hadley Park. And we used to go to Hadley Park to swim, and I was about 10 years old, 9.
So that was the outdoor swimming pool.
It was an outdoor swimming pool. And we used to walk all the way from East Nashville to Hadley Park to swim. And we could take swimming lessons, and we'd take swimming lessons. And I can just see the lady that was giving us the lesson. I can't think of her name right now. I probably will before the interview is over. But she was very good, and she could control that whole pool
With all
of
those
kids.
kids.
Yeah, she could do that. And that was my first memory of Jefferson Street, and we walking down Jefferson Street, seeing all the activity up and down Jefferson Street, the clubs open, and some of the windows raised in front of the buildings, and the music coming from the buildings, the
So it was real
smell
busy.
of food. It was busy. And but one of the spots was coming by Good Jelly Jones down at 4th and Jefferson. And when you came by Good Jelly Jones, they might be roasting a whole pig out in front of Good Jelly Jones.
Oh, so they were on a party.
They at night they partied. Now Good Jellies was sort of like a club beer joint downstairs, and upstairs was a boarding house in Good Jelly Jones. But out front, they had this big rack, and they would roast a whole pig out there in front of Good Jelly Jones.
Was that something they did every weekend or
Just about every weekend. Yeah.
Would they sell what? Pork sandwiches?
They would sell food.
Okay.
Yeah, they would sell food at Good Jellies. Yeah.
Now that is interesting. So, other than the clubs, what other businesses were on Jefferson Street that you remember?
Well, I do remember we have stopped at the ice cream parlor that was down on the other end of Jefferson Street. It was a little restaurant like that sold ice cream cones. In this building here, at one time, it was ice cream parlor in here, but I don't remember it being in here. I don't remember because I didn't live on this side of town.
Right.
So I missed out on that one. But I do remember the bakery that was there at like 14th, right in that area of Jefferson, and you could pass there and smell
All the baked goods.
Yeah, smell that good bread and stuff that was coming out of the aroma that was coming out of the building. You know, you'd see some folk that was a little overly intoxicated, sitting on the side of the grass, you know, when you come back, and we'd point at that person and say, we got to get over, because you didn't want to get too close to them. So we'd move over and not get too close to them.
So they must have had a good time the night before.
Yeah,
it was a hangover.
Evidently. Well, you see a lot of that now with folk on the side of the street, you know, and sleep on the benches and stuff. But back then, you didn't see it too much except for down on the Good Jellies end.
Well, talk about Good Jelly and cooking the hog, the pig. What was your first business?
Oh, now my first business was Lorenzo's Black and White Pig Pit Barbecue.
Did you get that idea from Good Jelly Jones?
No, I really got the idea from Cantrell's restaurant that was out East Nashville.
Cantrell's Barbecue.
Cantrell's Barbecue. And later on, Cantrell came to me and offered me a deal to go in business with him downtown. But I didn't feel like I was ready for that big of a move, and I didn't do it, which I should have. I should
now,
have.
did Cantrell go ahead and do it or no?
No, he didn't. He didn't. He was looking for that energetic younger person like myself at that time.
To help out.
Yeah. But I didn't know anything about cooking barbecue when I opened up the pit. There was this old gentleman that was a true alcoholic, but he could cook some barbecue when you catch him totally
The right
sober.
time.
Yeah, catch him sober. And when you catch him sober, you bring him in, and he cooked the barbecue, and you wouldn't have to do nothing but turn it. You didn't need no barbecue sauce or anything to make it taste, because the way he would base it and how he would base it with red pepper, black pepper, and salt, and that's all he would put on this meat before he put it on the grill, and it would come off.
Just fall off the bone.
Fall off the bone. You wouldn't need a fork. a knife. You would need a knife. And so I was trying to learn how to cook like he did.
So did you ever get the recipe? Did you know all the spices?
I
You
didn't
said
know.
red pepper, black pepper,
No,
and salt.
he wouldn't give it to us.
Oh, okay. It was a family secret.
That was his secret. And that was his way of keeping me paying him every day, every time he come in the barbecue pit. I'd have to pay him. And then finally, he just fell off the wagon to a point that we didn't see him. And so we had to learn how to cook.
How to do it.
And so my brother Ernest and myself, we learned how to baste that meat and cook it. We'd be up all night, a lot of nights cooking, because it would take 6-7 hours to cook the ribs, and it would take anywhere from 12 to 15 hours to cook the shoulders.
That's almost all day.
Yeah, but we did it, and we were in business down there for almost 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
So you have such an entrepreneurial spirit. After the barbecue business, what was the next business that you opened?
Now, after the barbecue, we a friend of mine had a little shop out there on Mormon's Arm in Buena Vista, and he had a record store in there. And so I bought him out, and I turned it into a record store and a boutique, because I sold clothes, I sold recycled jeans, and we inlaid material in the jeans and made blouses and little jackets to match the jeans. And we would go around to the different little country towns and buy old jeans, recycled jeans.
So did you go to one of my favorite stores, Goodwill or Southern Fair?
No, we didn't
How did you
have a
find these
Goodwill
little
then.
jeans?
We had Salvation Army.
Salvation Army, that's another favorite.
That's where we went to a lot. And matter of fact, I tell you, this is a little secret. That's why I've got corns on my feet right now from wearing those 2 small shoes from the Salvation Army, just to stay popular and dress
and look handsome, right?
And look good. I would wear shoes that was a half size smaller, just to
get that shoe.
Be able to match my outfits. Yeah.
A half size smaller.
And I've got corns on my feet right now.
So tell me, you had a lot of people to come by the record shop and the boutique. You have a story about Shaka Khan coming?
Yeah, I do have a story about Shaka Khan. One of the guys I knew, a friend that was in the music, was a friend of Shaka Khan's and her boyfriend at the time. And so they came, because I was playing her music in the record store, and they were promoting her music. And a number of different artists and musicians came to the record store because they had heard that we had this nice sound system in the record store.
Okay.
And we were selling records and people were coming into the shop. So whenever some of the big artists would come to Nashville, and the DJ would call me and say, Lo, we're gonna stop by your place this evening. I've got Son with me. I'll have Son with me. I'll have Teddy Pendergrass with me. I'll have Shaka Khan with me. So I'd get everything ready, and so that I could take pictures and talk to them and sell them merchandise. And so I did that a number of times at the record store. But I remember this one time when Shaka Khan came in. I hired this guy that had the camera with the tripods and all of this, you know, and so that he could take pictures of Shaka Khan as she tried on some of my merchandise. And so he had the camera there flashing and going on, and the next day I called him to see how long it would take me to get the pictures. And he was so disappointing. He said, well, I got some bad news. I said, bad news? What's the bad news? He said that the camera didn't work. I didn't get any pictures from that shoot. So evidently he didn't have no film
in the camera. Oh, wow.
But he wouldn't say that.
After all that.
He wouldn't say that. So that's why I don't have a bunch of pictures of Shaka Khan. But I do have some good memories of that evening.
So now, is this how you got into the music business, was from the record shop? How did you get into the music business?
Well, I got into the music business itself by way of Jesse Boyce and Moses Dillard. I had the record store and the boutique going pretty well. I was getting quite a few sales from that record store, and Moses Dillard called me one day and said he'd like to talk to me. And I had, you know, a relatively thriving business down there at the Soul Shack. And he had heard about me from some other folk, that I was a decent business guy.
You were a good guy, right?
You know, and a good guy.
Yeah.
So they were looking for outlets to the neighborhood, to the community. And so I went over, had a meeting with them, and talked to them, and they said that they would like to have me as a partner over there at the at Dillard and Boyce Production. And I said, why me? I said, I don't play anything, I don't sing, I don't. She said, but there's a number of ways you could be a part of this organization. And this organization had been accepted by Francis Preston and BMI over there on Music Row, and they was already established on Music Row, in the Music Row community. And so I agreed, and the next thing you know, I was over there more than I was at my record store.
Okay.
And eventually, I closed that record store down and moved over there on McFerrin. It wasn't quite as big, and it wasn't quite as much rent. And being that I wasn't going to be there, I had my cousin Bobby running the museum for me.
The record shop?
I mean, the record shop, I'm sorry. Running the record shop for me, and so I could be over at the record company over there, you know, making records. And the next thing you know, I've met you.
Yes, you did.
Over at Dillard and Boyce Production. Karen, you wrote 2 songs on an album,
For Saturday Night Band.
Saturday Night Band album, and I ended up co-writing 1 song with Moses and Jesse and Thomas Kane, and so that ended up being one big happy family over there.
It really was.
There were local artists and musicians. There were national artists and musicians coming through there, and there were us, you know, the core group of the production company. And so that was a real experience over there at Dillard and Boyce Production. And both of those guys, Jesse Boyce and Moses Dillard, are deceased now.
Yeah.
And we had a lot. I was with those guys for about 5 years, and I was with one or the other of them 6, 7 days a week, some weeks, you know, because we were busy. We were recording over there, and Marvin Slachter out of New York with Prelude Records were backing those albums that we were doing. So the money wasn't a big problem during that little gap. 5-year gap, it wasn't a little gap. But we didn't get that big hit record, you know.
Well, it's never too late.
It's never too late. And
Never too late.
we've got a studio upstairs that we could possibly pull it off from upstairs.
So that's interesting you mentioned upstairs here at the same location of the museum. But before it was a museum, how did you come to move to Jefferson Street in 2010? You actually moved to Jefferson Street. What was the article that you read? What was the purpose of you coming to Jefferson Street?
Well, the purpose of me coming to Jefferson Street was that I had to move out of the building that I was in on Franklin Road. They had some problems with the infrastructure, and they were going to have to tear out my rental space for repairs. And they were going to go up on the rent when they got through. And so they told me that up front. So I said, I've got to find me another place. But then I had heard Jefferson Street needed revitalizing. And so I had said, well, maybe I should go to Jefferson Street and find me a place. And I saw an article in the newspaper saying the only way Jefferson Street is going to come back is that black businessmen and women were going to have to move to Jefferson Street and set up business. And so that was my thought. But at the time, nobody was actually doing that. So I said, I don't want to be over there by myself on Jefferson Street. And something just kept telling me to go on to Jefferson Street. So I came over here on Jefferson Street and rode up Jefferson Street looking for a place to lease. I rode up Jefferson Street, didn't see anything. Rode back down the street, didn't see anything. So I made another trip before I left North Nashville. I made one more trip, and when I came back up the street, I saw a sign on the post out there that said for rent. I said, how did I miss that sign? And the lady, Darcy, that owned the building, pulled in the parking lot. And so I went up, turned around, and came back and pulled in behind her. And the sign was up for rent. But lady was already had an appointment with her to meet her and look at this place that we're sitting in right now.
Okay.
Because it was separate from the place next door.
Before they opened it up, okay.
Yes. And when the lady pulled up, and she did rent this side. She rented this side of the building, and I met with Darcy, and I ended up on the spot leasing that side of the building. And the lady that rented the beauty shop over here, she wasn't here but about 4 months. And then I took over this side too. So then I would have the whole building.
The whole building.
And I've got the whole building still right today. And so right after that, I wasn't going to put a museum in here. That was the furthest thing from my mind.
How'd you know that's my next question? How were you persuaded to start a museum?
Well, I was persuaded by one of the most persuasive women that I know, that I knew, Marion James. She was very persuasive. And she came to me and said, Lorenzo, we got to do something about our legacy, because nobody's talking about us. We're not getting gigs anymore. So we got to do something about our legacy. And I haven't really talked about or thrown that word around, legacy, you know. I don't know about what I'm going to do as far as my legacy is concerned. Had never even thought of it. And so, but she was concerned about their legacy, and their legacy being forgotten and not remembered.
So now Marion James is known as Nashville's Queen of the Blues. So at one point she was very well known on Jefferson Street, performing in the clubs on the Chitlin Circuit. And then years passed, and so was this fear of not being remembered.
Right, and at that point, she came to me and said, I don't know what we're going to do, but we got to do something, and we got to do it fast because we all dying. I said, wow. You know, and since then, that whole group has passed. That used to come here and rehearse. I let them come here and rehearse and jam in here in the rehearsal hall and hang out. And all of a sudden, Marion started bringing little memorabilia, you know, pictures mostly. Later on, she gave me some shoes to, you know, so after about a year, I had enough stuff to go on and start displaying, you know. And I did that. I'd start displaying this merchandise, and when folk would come to the rehearsal hall, we'd sit around and over here at my apartment and talk and kind of hang out and talk about the artists, the Marion James and the Herbert Hunters and the Jimmy Churches and the Frank Howards, and you know, all of those guys was a part of the Chitlin Circuit, really.
Right.
They were a part of Night Train, you know, and so we talk about these guys, and the next thing you know, I done moved the furniture out of the front room of my house. And we're talking more about the history of Jefferson Street.
And starting the museum, because it's really fascinating when you walk in the museum, you see so many pictures. Pictures of different people, entertainers, politicians, religious figures, sports figures, just a different array of folks.
Right.
Individuals that have helped to preserve the musical legacies
Right.
of historic Jefferson Street.
Well, that was my only way of saying history is through pictures.
Yes.
You know, I didn't know of any other way of describing what I thought was a museum. You know, I knew pictures would create interest.
And kind of tell a story.
Yeah, and the pictures do tell stories.
Well, what I thought was interesting, being the fact that the museum is located in the Civil Rights District here in Nashville is the picture that you have in the footprints room of a young Diane Nash, and then a picture 50 years later of Diane Nash marching down Jefferson Street again with you.
Right, right. Well, I fell in line in the march. But it was the 50th anniversary march from Tennessee State out there to downtown. And Diane Nash, Rutherford Sanders, and other civic leaders was in that march during that time. That was the 50th anniversary march. And yeah, those days, I have pictures from the march in there in the museum. But that was my only way of, through pictures, my only way of accelerating in the museum field. I just didn't know nothing about museums and how to get one started. But evidently,
You're a natural.
God had set me up to do exactly what he needed done. And here I am, still trying to build a legacy, not just for the artists and musicians or myself, but for the city.
And that's so. In 2022, you received a proclamation making April 3rd Lorenzo Washington Day from Senator Brenda Gilmore. And every year thereafter that, you've hosted the Lorenzo Washington Day Gala. It's a fundraiser benefiting the Jefferson Street Sound Museum. But what I'm amazed about is that it honors you, the gala honors you, but you've also honored other artists that have played an important part in preserving the musical legacies of historic Jefferson Street, artists that have performed on historic Jefferson Street. So can you tell us a little bit about what does it mean to you to have a Lorenzo Washington Day and then to have a Lorenzo Washington Day Gala? So we can start with, what did it mean to you receiving the honor of having your own day?
Unbelievable. Never thought that I would that I would have accomplishment that would warrant me having my own day.
I remember that day. It was very special, and Senator Brenda Gilmore and different friends, family, entertainers on Jefferson Street, and we hosted the reception right here and presented it to you. So it was a fun day, but it's well deserved on your part, because had you not followed your passion and started the museum, so many memories and histories would be lost about Jefferson Street. So on behalf of the community, I'm saying thank you. On behalf of the community. So thank you very much. Now, the gala. The gala, you've honored a lot of different people. And just to name a few, Lucius Spoonman Talley, Frank Howard, Jimmy Church, Peggy Gaines, D. Ford Bailey, Noble Blackwell, Dr. Bobby Jones, just numerous people, Charles Wig Walker, Sharon Kay. So all these individuals that you've honored, and that's just to name a few of them. What does it mean to you as the founder of the museum to honor these individuals?
Well, and I call these individuals legends. So to be able to honor all of these legends that entertained us here in Nashville and especially on Jefferson Street is an honor. And I put them before putting my name out there.
So just to make sure that you're pushing them, even though your name is on the gala, you're pushing other artists that have made an impact on Jefferson Street. So that just lets you know how humble you are. I'll let you know how humble you are. So we got a few more questions. Not to mention all the different awards that you received outside of the proclamation. You just recently received the Keeping Blues Alive Award in Memphis, Tennessee. The Harry T. Burley Award, as a 2025 Burley Civic Champion awardee. You received an Honorable Life Award from Belmont Global Honors Program. So my question to you is, what do these honors mean to you?
Now these honors mean that we have become innovators for the community.
That's a good way to put it. So innovators for the community.
And we acknowledge all of these great entertainers and all of the awards that we received because we are promoting and recognizing these entertainers
And the contributions that they made.
Okay, let's do those.
So let me ask you, at this stage of the game, what do you think is needed on Jefferson Street? Let's say maybe as far as other businesses, restaurants, a supper club, housing. What do you feel is needed on Jefferson Street?
Well, as you say, you put more housing in a community, the businesses will come automatically, and so we need more businesses to come to Jefferson Street, different kinds of businesses. We need clothing stores. We need insurance company offices. We need ice cream parlors.
A grocery store.
We need a grocery store. So I think if we put those kinds of businesses up on Jefferson Street, the rest will appear.
Will come.
It'll come. But we got to get started with one source or the other. And the source that I see now, if we had a really nice dinner club over here on Jefferson, that it would pull people in from all around the city. They would want to come to Jefferson Street just to hear that different kind of music that they heard about over
The
here
jazz
on
and that
Jefferson.
rhythm and that blues.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got to encourage more housing we've got to encourage better street lighting on the street.
So the beautification of
Jefferson Street, yeah.
So this was something special at this year's past gala on April 3rd. You were informed by the Tennessee Department of Tourism and Development that the Jefferson Street Sound Museum was being nominated to be included on the U.S. Civil Rights Trail. What does that mean to you?
Now, it's an honor just to talk about the Civil Rights Trail, you know, because folk lost their lives on the Civil Rights Trail. Folk build their communities behind the Civil Rights Trail. It is just a pure honor to be here in 2025 discussing civil rights.
Well, you know, and it gives you an opportunity to show other people that haven't put their footprints on Jefferson Street and in the Jefferson Street Sound Museum why this museum is so important to the community, to Nashville, to the nation, and to the world, because it is a very important piece of history. Now, I just have a couple other questions. At the age of 82, what is the next chapter of your life? How do you see yourself in the next year?
In the next year, hopefully I've been blessed with being here on this earth for another year. Hopefully we would have come up with some kind of a deal for the museum or with the museum that we have found some money to rebuild, to take this museum to the next level. We've got established ourselves as far as recognition is concerned. We have gotten enough recognition to be able to take this thing to another level, to interest entrepreneurs that's interested in being a part of history.
And part of the mission of the museum.
And a part of the mission of the museum.
So everybody needs to hear that and know they can make donations.
There you go.
So this is the last question I have for you. What do you want your legacy to be?
I would want my legacy to say that I thrived to build a community that has been in the dark for a lot of years. I would like my legacy to be one that took a great deal of interest in our community. I would like my legacy to be one that was positive and creative as far as bringing people together.
So it seems like the museum has done that quite a bit with the different programs, as far as bringing people together for tours, bringing the children together with the program Color plus Kool-Aid plus Cool Kids equals Fun, and educating them about the museum.
Right.
And having the museum's activity sheet available to children through Seymour, Symor, Seymour, start your month off right, and that's having live music back on historic Jefferson Street. And you do that the first Monday of every month, and that's
Right.
also an open mic. And then, of course, where we are right now, you have the Legacy Series, and that Legacy Series is interviewing those individuals that have made an impact on historic Jefferson Street, preserving the musical legacies.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you have One Note. One Note is if you bring the lyrics, we write the melody. So that gives an opportunity for those individuals that want to have a song written, aspiring songwriters, to go ahead and participate in that program here at the museum. So the museum has done quite a bit as far as bringing the community together. So our hats, you're wearing a hat, I'm not today, but our hats are off to you, Mr. Washington, for you taking the initiative, passion and desire to go ahead and create this wonderful museum, Jefferson Street Sound Museum. Thank you.
And it hadn't been much of a challenge. You know, the blessings that we've been blessed with has caused this to be interesting, fun, loving journey.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with us. And thank you for sharing with everyone here, and then for everyone in the future that will see this tape. Thank you.